Welcome to all of you joining the broadcast tonight. Most of those JFK assassination files that were going to be released, that the government had been keeping classified, have been released tonight. There is a website where they're released. Look, I'll show you. We'll look at it later, but I'll show you. There's the website. There it is. You can go there and look through the records. People right now are going and looking through the records of the website. So we're gonna talk about this release. We're gonna search around a little bit ourselves. We're gonna hear from you what you think about it. If you find anything on the website, let me know. Give me a shout at Lookner, at Lookner. I get the impression that it's going to take people a while to go through these documents. So I don't think we're going to hear tonight about everything that anybody finds in here, but maybe we'll hear some things. I've been searching some sites on the web. So anyways, we're going to start talking about this. I want to begin by saying hello and thank you to everybody for joining us, and thank you to the moderators in the chat rooms on YouTube and on rsbn.tv for moderating. So we got JC, Ron Miller, who else is in there? Real Frank, I think, was there. Guinevere is there. And I'm sure we'll have other moderators in too. And Gleno and Common Sense on the website. So again, write to me at Lookner if you find anything on this website or hear anything about the documents. Let's just talk about it. Now, first, before we get into these documents, I want you to just give a little background here and also say all of the documents that were supposed to be released today were not actually released. Some of them are being withheld till April because some of the intelligence agencies requested that they be withheld a little longer. So yes, so what was I going to say about that? I want to give you the White House statement about this. Let me show you that. Where is it? I have it here somewhere. I just had it here. Give me 1 second here. See, I had it up and then I somehow hid it from myself. Now I have to find it again. It's like the one article I had up on the screen and I deleted it accidentally. So this New York Times summarizes by saying, after a chaotic last-minute review in which intelligence agencies lobbied against full disclosure, the White House said it would take more time to process and release thousands of documents that were also supposed to be made public tonight. It set a deadline of late April 2018 for the release of these documents. And this is what I was talking about before. Citing security concerns, President Trump held back some of the documents. The papers were being posted online by the National Archives and Records Administration in compliance with a 1992 law requiring their release after 25 years. So it's 2017 now, 25 years later. But President Trump agreed to postpone the release of thousands more files that were supposed to be made public, pending a review that should end on April 26th. And President Trump said tonight, he released a memorandum that said, the American public expects and deserves, its government to provide as much access as possible to the President John F. Kennedy assassination records so that the people may finally be able to be fully informed about all aspects of this pivotal event. Therefore, I am ordering today that the veil finally be lifted. At the same time, executive departments and agencies have proposed to me that certain information should continue to be redacted because of national security, law enforcement, and foreign affairs concerns. I have no choice today but to accept those redactions rather than allow potentially irreversible harm to our nation's security. To further address these concerns, I am ordering agencies to re-review each and every one of these redactions over the next 180 days. At the end of that period, in April, I will order the public disclosure of any information that the agencies cannot demonstrate meets the statutory standard for continued postponement of disclosure under Section 5G2D of the President John F. Kennedy Assassination Records Collection Act of 1992. So, we're going to talk about this now. So not all of the documents that were supposed to be released were released. Some of the intelligence agencies didn't want them released, but President Trump has said you have until April to demonstrate that under the law, they should be kept confidential. If not, we're releasing them in April. That's basically what's going on. All right. Now, I want to talk a little bit about what some people have found. So if you found anything in these releases so far, give me a shout at Lookner on Twitter, at Lookner. We'll go through the website in a second. Where is that website? What did I do with it? There it is. There it is. I already have some people already sent me some comments. Renee LaFleur says, heavy redactions incoming. Del Mar says the CIA was able to get President Trump to suppress files that implicate them in the JFK assassination. I think, by the way, that, let me look this up. Give me 1 second. I think a couple of the intelligence agencies that pushed for the redactions were the CIA and the FBI, but let me just clarify that. I don't want to give you incorrect information. So, so if you look at, like, for example, the New York Times article says, this New York Times article says, as soon as I stop autoplay, see, it says, President Trump bowed to protest by the CIA and FBI. So the CIA and the FBI were saying you have to withhold some additional documents. And President Trump says you have 6 months to show me these should keep being withheld. But let's go back to the website there. Where is it? We'll be looking through this website, and we'll be seeing some other people have been looking through it already. We'll see some stuff they're going to find. I don't anticipate personally some kind of huge bombshell being found, but you never know. You know, maybe some historians will look through that and say, oh, I found that interesting information. That connects to this, which connects to this. So if you look, I'm just looking here at the site. This you can go to at the National Archives. It says 2,891 documents were released. 2,891. Okay. And let's see here. It gives you all these different rows, and I guess they're all in PDF files. So for example, row number 1, record number whatever, released today, formally withheld in part. These were all formally withheld in part. So for example, this is notes. Let's look it up. Let's take this one. Report on investigation of CIA involving foreign something or other. So if we click on PDF and we open it up, this is a random document. Summary of facts, investigation, CIA involvement in plans to assassinate leaders. Where is this even from? What government agency is this even from? The following is a summary of facts gathered by the executive director of the CIA Commission concerning possible CIA involvement in plans to assassinate foreign leaders. So this once, it's kind of cool because this once was top secret. Look, it has top secret, and the top secret is X'd out on it. Photocopy from Gerald Ford Library, so I guess they had it. But I guess some of this was not released before, but the whole document is here. This is just one document, and this document is how many pages long? Yeah, I mean, look, this is a long document. 84 pages. So tons of documents here. You can go through them if you want at more length. Ace Trades made a donation and said, you guys always get the good stories. Thanks, RSBN. You're welcome. We are viewer supported, so if you like that we're on the air covering this and you like our coverage in general, feel free to consider donating, because your donations are what keeps us on the air. If you'd like to donate, you can go to rsbn.tv/donate. rsbn.tv/donate, or just go to the YouTube chat room right next to the broadcast and click on the $sign, the little $sign at the bottom of the chat room. So I want to check. There's some sites I'm following, which they have some live updates about the release. So I'm going to go to those sites in a second and see what they have to say. But if you have any things that you've found in the documents or that you've heard or just comments you'd like to make, write to me at Lookner, at Lookner. Here's a message I got from, that's on Twitter, by the way. Here's a message I got from Thaddeus Kazor. Thaddeus Kazor sent me this. This just in, CNN reporting that there may be a Russia connection to the JFK assassination. I didn't see CNN report that, but I've been watching CNN. But we have a Ron Burgundy meme there. Anyways, that was sent by one of the viewers. Frankie P sent me another document. Frankie P, or another tweet by somebody about this. So people are sending me different excerpts that they're seeing. So let me look at this one. Frankie P sent me this. So this is from Jacob Wool. Who is Jacob Wool? Jacob Wool, CEO of Montgomery Assets. Well, I don't know if he's entirely trustworthy, but he says CIA document says it was a piece of cake for the KGB to run Oswald operation from the Soviet Union. I don't know. Is this real? When was this posted? This was posted at an hour ago. I don't know. You can look up Jacob Wool's look up Jacob Wool's page and see. I mean, who knows? I have no. I'm just seeing this information for the first time. You can look up at Jacob A. Wool and read it for yourself. Let's see. So, at Loyal Deplorable sent me this. And it says, Marilyn Monroe's doctor was a communist. And it says something. This is I guess, is this Loyal Deplorable? I can't confirm that this is from the documents. Loyal Deplorable sent this to me, the screenshot. For all I know, it's from the documents that were released tonight. I'm not even sure because I haven't looked through them. And it's a whole batch. But that's from Loyal Deplorable. That supposedly, I guess, was in the documents tonight. Nicholas says, congrats for InfoWars and Alex Jones reporting on this last week. R.I.P. John F. Kennedy, one of the great presidents we had. Reagan Better says, Congressman Joe Kennedy III was angered by President Trump for not telling Kennedy's family about the files. Found This Fish says, there are 400 pages of people they were keeping tabs on as potential threats to JFK. So this is what Found This Fish sent. It's a document which apparently is from this file release. Yeah, it says released under the John F. Kennedy Records Collection Act. And it was released. Was this released today? I'm not sure. But it says printouts referred to files established for months. Prospective research cases. Secret Service cases in 1963 involving assassinations. I'm just reading through this. I'm not even sure what I'm looking at here. This is individuals listed by protective research, name of individual, FBI referred subject to USSS in 1963, describing him as a pro-Castro Puerto Rican. Put on observation showed no interest. Put under observation showed no interest in president during inaugural 1965. Interviewed subject during 66 surveillance, and subject voiced no animosities toward president. So this looks like maybe this is like files on people who they were worried might assassinate the president or something. And this is like a 400-page document. Interesting. All right, so much to look through here. Hey, let's look at what some of these sites are saying that have been going through some of this stuff, if they have anything interesting. Okay, so this is from the Guardian website. See, if I disappear, you can see it's the Guardian. And they said 2 minutes ago, they made a post which says, in a set of documents from the 1960s investigation, FBI staff are grilled by a Senate committee about their failure to stop Lee Harvey Oswald after his 6-day trip to Mexico City in September 1963. An FBI agent testified, Oswald wrote me in early 1962 to help expedite an exit visa for his wife. Why in the world would he tell a plopper like that? A senator replies, in any event, he told what the agent knew was lies, and what I am trying to get at is there was no analysis within the Bureau of any of this. He even goes to Mexico City, contacts the Cuban consulate and the Soviet embassy, happens to be in contact. We don't know if there was anything sinister about it with an agent who was known to be KGB by the FBI and the CIA and suspected of being Department 13, which is their assassination and sabotage squad. In any event, he then returns to the United States and is never again interviewed by the FBI. So that was one thing that was found. And another thing the Guardian says is 9 minutes ago, many of the documents read first and foremost as the 1960s artifacts they are, obsessed with communism, civil rights, and Vietnam. In one of the documents released tonight, the CIA takes note of an article declaring that Martin Luther King was right about the Vietnam War. Another describes a Black Power conference that civil rights activist Adam Clayton Powell wanted to hold, but no one showed up. A third concerns Stokely Carmichael's remarks of solidarity with a Latin American group. There are multiple transcripts of interrogations of Yuri Nosenko, a KGB defector. In one, Nosenko and his interrogator discussed Stalin and rumors that the Soviet leader had his sister murdered. I have heard of strangeness of such a type that he was working all night and in the morning, but during the day generally they rarely see him, and he does not permit anyone to approach him, and it is rare that one sees him. At that, from my pal Leonid Petrov, that is, I heard a little other details of Stalin's personal life, how he acts. So anyways, more documents. Looks like some interesting stuff there. Feel free to, in your spare time, go through it. You go to this website, the National Archives. There it is. And so much stuff there to go through. But if you see anything interesting in there, give me a shout on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. We're talking about this documents released tonight, seeing what people are finding. Again, if you enjoy our coverage here at Right Side Broadcasting, we're viewer supported. Your donations are what allow us to do this. So we would appreciate if anybody wants to donate. You can go to the bottom of the YouTube chat room and click on the $sign there, or go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. Also, to know when we're coming on the air with these live videos, we do them all the time. Subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell. You can also go to us and follow us on Facebook at Right Side Broadcasting, and on Twitter at RSB Network. I'm on Twitter at Lookner. I post about breaking news stuff a lot if you like that kind of thing. Let me check your messages and see what you guys have sent me. Trump Jr. said Ted Cruz's grandpa was involved. So wasn't there that quote? Hold on a second. Let me call something up here. So the claim that there was a claim, the claim going around by some people was that Ted Cruz's dad was somehow involved in the JFK assassination. There's an article here posted at HuffPost that says Ted Cruz hopes release of JFK files will end ludicrous claim his dad was involved. During the 2016 presidential campaign, President Trump promoted a theory that said Cruz's father was somehow involved in President John F. Kennedy's assassination. Frank Thorpe V posted this. Somebody asked Cruz, "Are you confident that the release of JFK files will vindicate your father?" Cruz, "Haha, I look forward to seeing what's in the files." Says the idea that his father had links to Oswald is a claim that goes beyond ludicrous. What else we got here? So if you do send me a link, please let me know what it is. I don't know what it is. So like if you send me a link and say like read this and it's just a link, it could be a virus for all I know. So not that it is, but if you send me something, give me like a little summary of what it is, because if you don't, then I kind of spend the broadcast clicking on links and reading them to figure out what they are, and then you have to all watch me clicking on links and reading things, which is not too exciting to watch. So please give me, if you send me a link, I love that you're sending me links, but to like one of the documents, just let me know a little summary about what it is. Gil says, what about that famous bullet that was on the stretcher with no damage? Maybe there are documents about bullets in this release tonight. I have no idea. I don't really know what's there. Waiting to see what people find. So this person, Jacob Wool, is posting stuff about the documents. I don't know if Jacob Wool is reliable. I mean, at this point, you know, I'm guessing there are some people, not necessarily Jacob Wool, but I'm sure there are some people posting documents and claiming they're from the National Archives release when they might not be. But so I'm sort of taking everything with a grain of salt. But Reagan Better sent me this tweet from Jacob Wool, and Jacob Wool says, "Bombshell: the CIA was running surveillance on the Obama's communist buddy Bill Ayers in 1969." I don't know. I don't know. I can't speak to this. So he has a link to He has a link to a document here. So he did post a link. So there's the document. Anyways, if you want to read about this, you can go to Jacob Wool's Twitter page, @JacobAWool, and you can click and read through yourself. Thank you, Reagan Better, for sending that in. Renee Lafleur says, Document 8 explains means of sabotaging crops in Cuba with chemicals and making it look as though the issues were of natural origin. Sick. Oh, Badger Fool just sent me this. WikiLeaks posted this a little while ago tonight. And it says, WikiLeaks issues a $100,000 reward for the withheld JFK documents should they show violations of law, inefficiency, or administrative error. So what WikiLeaks is doing is saying, you know, the documents that President Trump withheld tonight and didn't release because the CIA and the FBI didn't want them released. WikiLeaks will pay someone $100,000 to give those documents to WikiLeaks if they show violations of law, inefficiency, or administrative error. So if you have access to those withheld documents and they show violations of law, inefficiency, or administrative error, and you want to make $100,000, send them to WikiLeaks. Thank you, Badger Fool, for sending that in to me and letting me know about that. Ryan writes in, if some of their sources are still alive in foreign countries, obviously the CIA and FBI would want to block some documents to protect them. Sure, and also, you know, I had read that perhaps the withheld documents have information about methods the CIA and FBI might use, and they might not want that to be released. Hang on a second here. So there's the website. Let me see what else people are finding in here. Write to me if you hear anything at Lookner, at Lookner. And we also like, if you enjoy the video, we love when you like the video on YouTube and share it on Facebook, because we're so small we can't even afford advertising. So it really helps spread the word about Right Side if you like the video, if you share it on Facebook and you share the videos on Facebook and you like them on YouTube. I feel like this picture should be a little higher in the frame. I think it's a little low. Let me raise it a little bit. That seems a little better. Okay. Let me check these different sites and see if they're finding anything. So the Independent says, 10 minutes ago, lots of documents in here concern Oswald's visit to Mexico City, attempting to determine if he used the embassy there to contact the Soviets. Independent also says, some documents, like the below document, explore Martin Luther King and his potential connections to communism. American intelligence agencies have a tangled record with the civil rights leader. The FBI infamously sent him a letter suggesting he kill himself. So they say this document here is about Martin Luther King. Let's see what this document is. Look, it says report Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King talks about he's described as a civil rights leader, most prominent civil rights leader. I'm just flipping through here. Oh, this isn't that long. Hey, there's still some redacted in here, it looks like. Or maybe this is in a different file. I don't know. Probably really interesting just for historians to look at all this stuff that's never been seen by the public before. Aaron Olshafer gave $2 and said MAGA. Thank you, Aaron. Your donations are what keeps us on the air, so we really appreciate it. Let's see, what else does The Guardian say? The Guardian 29 minutes ago said, returning... hold on, let's go back to see what The Guardian said about some things. The Guardian has some posts here about documents. In another document from 1975, Bobby Kennedy, JFK's brother and Attorney General, is said to have become unhappy about attempts on Castro's life. Lawrence Houston, one of the men who helped establish the CIA, testified that around 1963, he felt he was making a very strong drive to try to get after the mafia. And so his comment was to us that if we were going to get involved with the mafia in the future at any time, to make sure you see me first. Let's see, what is this document they're talking about? This is just more, we looked at this before, investigation of CIA involvement in plans to assassinate foreign leaders. I wonder if we look up Robert Kennedy, will we find him here? Well, maybe the search doesn't work well. Oh, maybe you can't find any. I don't know if the search really works on like a typed document like this. I'm not sure. It's like, who knows? Maybe it does. Maybe there's just no Robert Kennedy in there. And here's one, The Guardian says, another CIA document about a black militant situation in Chicago says one of its sources, A, believed King sought at least constructive, positive projects. Guardian says a huge swath of the CIA files are receipts and financial accounts for clandestine projects Tens of thousands of dollars paid out for anti-communist activities, supplies, and weapons, especially to people in Latin America. So there's just different receipts here. Interesting. If you find anything interesting or hear anything interesting about the releases, give me a shout at @Lookner on Twitter. Jeremy says, where are you finding the documents? I went to a link on your page and it says in bold, not available online. So if you want to find the documents, you can just Google. I mean, they're right here. Hold on a second. I'll show you. National Archives, JFK Assassination Records. So I assume if you just Google, hang on. Let's go to Google. If you just say JFK Assassination Records, you go down here and it says JFK Assassination Records, additional documents release. See there? JFK Assassination Records, additional documents release, right there. If you click on that, that'll take you to the National Archives site. Found this fish says he or she found a document. I found this fish says he or she found a document saying, has a Dr. Hargis telling about a Mr. Bruinguier finding out Oswald was a communist agent working with Castro. I'll show you this document. So this was sent to me by I Found This Fish. Hang on one second. I'll pull the document up here. So this says, Hargis was the first speaker. His discussion indicated objection to Castro in Cuba. Introduced Carlos Bruinguier as the person who debated Lee Harvey Oswald in 1963 on a radio program in Louisiana. Hargis told about Bruinguier finding out Oswald was a communist agent working with Castro. Who knows if that's true or not? At the bottom there. Interesting. Thanks for sending it in. Chuck Boyce Jr. says, I'm reading reports that not all of the JFK files will be released. Well, as we said before, some of them were not released because the CIA and FBI requested that they be withheld, and President Trump has said he'll give the CIA and FBI till April to demonstrate that they should be withheld. If not, he's going to release them. Retired sent me something, and I can't understand what that post is. I'm looking at your post, Retired, you sent me, and I don't understand it. Ryan says, I do think Lee Harvey Oswald was working for the Soviet Union or the Cubans. Let me check and see any of these sites, if anyone has found anything particularly new or exciting. Give me one more second here, guys. Okay, this is from the CBS site. They have a live update on the CBS site, and it says, the CIA discusses Martin Luther King Jr. The civil rights icon is discussed in a report from 1967. The document cites a 1964 Washington Post story that states King was planning to visit the Soviet Union but was dissuaded from doing so by Reverend Ralph Abernathy. What is this document? So I clicked on the link and I got this. Oh, we had this before. See, it says down here, an article appearing in the Washington Post on 4 November 1964 stated that the subject was planning a visit to the Soviet Union. He reportedly had been invited to the USSR, but Ralph Abernathy, spokesman for subject, refused to comment on the source of the invitation. And what is this document even? What is it? Is it a CIA? How do they know this is a CIA document? I can't tell. Oh, or originator. See, it says originator CIA. Report Martin Luther King. So it's a CIA report on Martin Luther King. I see. CIA discusses Bill Ayers. A 1969 document discusses William Bill Ayers, then a member of the Students for a Democratic Society and soon a leader of the Weather Underground, a leftist terror group that carried out bombings across the United States. The document discusses a speech Ayers gave at American University in which he calls for a war against American imperialism. So that document is here, and see it says CIA. Title, Student Agitational and Anti-War Activities in the United States. Hey, look who got this. The President, the Vice President, the Secretary of State, the Director of the CIA, Director of Defense Intelligence Agency, on and on. Well, I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but interesting. CBS also says 1962 minutes of a special meeting on anti-Castro efforts. One newly revealed document includes minutes from a 1962 meeting in which Kennedy administration officials, including Attorney General Robert Kennedy and National Security Advisor McGeorge Bundy, discussed sabotage efforts against the Cuban government. Interesting. The document indicates that the CIA explored the possibility of producing crop failures by the introduction of biological agents, which would appear to be of natural origin as part of that effort. Somebody had written me about this. It was suggested that the matter of attacking and harassing of Soviet personnel within Cuba should be considered. So this document is here. Look, it says minutes of meeting of special group on Mongoose. And you can see it says present McGeorge Bundy, the Attorney General, Mr. Martin. You can hear what they said at the meeting. Where's the stuff about the crops? Here we go. He went on to say that it would be possible to accomplish this purpose by methods more subtle than those indicated in the paper. He mentioned specifically the possibility of producing crop failures by the introduction of biological agents, which would appear to be of natural origin. Mr. Bundy said he had no worries about any such sabotage, which could clearly be made to appear as a result of local Cuban disaffection or of natural disaster, but that we must avoid external activities such as release of chemicals, etc., unless they could be completely covered up. Fascinating. That's an interesting document. CBS also cites this one. They say this document from 1975 lays out some of the CIA's efforts to assassinate foreign leaders, including Fidel Castro. The document discusses CIA contacts with the mafia, including mob boss Sam Giancana, for the purposes of assassinating Castro. According to the document, the CIA also discussed assassinating Congolese leader Patrice Lumumba and Indonesian President Sukarno. So this document is here. Subjects: organized crime, assassinations, foreign leaders, Rockefeller Commission. This is a long document. So we're not going to read through all this, obviously, but this is just, it's 84 pages. I think we had opened this a little bit before, but feel free to look through it. You're watching Right Side Broadcasting's live coverage of the release of the JFK assassination files. We've already seen there are some files in there about Martin Luther King, about trying to sabotage Cuba, about assassination plots being considered about foreign leaders, about just some mentions of Lee Harvey Oswald we saw. What else did we see in there? All kinds of stuff. Files on people who they thought might be a risk to the president. And if you want the raw files, you can go to this site at the National Archives website. Oop, that's not it. Where'd it go? There it is. There it is. So we are just covering this, showing you some excerpts and taking your comments. So if you have any comments on this, or you find something interesting, or you hear about somebody finding something interesting in these files, give me a shout on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. Also, subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell so you know when we're coming on the air with these videos. And you can follow us on Twitter at RSB Network. Follow us on Facebook, Right Side Broadcasting. Thanks so much to all of the moderators, both on the website and the chat room, YouTube chat room, for being with us tonight, moderating the chat. And speaking of the YouTube chat room, that's where you can help out Right Side Broadcasting, because we're viewer supported. We rely on your donations to stay on the air. And just as I say that, somebody makes a donation. That's so kind. Timberlab, God is great, made a $10 donation. Said, thank you, Steve, RSBN Mod Squad, for all you do, MAGA. Thank you, Timberlab, for the donation. That's how we can stay on the air. So if you like our broadcasts, you want to see us keep covering the news, go to the bottom of the YouTube chat room and click on the $sign there at the bottom. Or you can go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. Okay, looking at some of the things you guys have shown me. Terrence Robertson, you sent me an email about an article about a declassified memo, but that article was from 2015. So we're going to focus tonight on the articles about the stuff that was released tonight, just to keep our focus kind of narrow so we don't go off in too many directions. But thank you for writing in. I Love Trump says, hi, Steve. Rubenstein was constantly mentioned in a lot of the reports on JFK PDF files. Why? Who is this Rubenstein? I have no idea. Loyal Deplorable says, some of the documents have been removed by the CIA but are still listed. Odd. JC said, don't forget about Hillary's birthday, Steve. And he sent me a picture of Hillary Clinton in a prison jumpsuit. Her birthday is today. She's 70 today. I didn't realize it was today. Let me see if I find anything. Hold on, give me 1 second here. As I said before, WikiLeaks.
Stood out to you
Hey, come on! Why does it do that? Stop!
So this
Stop!
is what
Please
we've seen.
stop!
First of all, a lot of people.
Stop! WikiLeaks announced a $100,000 reward. We talked about this earlier for withheld docs. WikiLeaks, which of course played a role in publishing leaked information about Democrats, blah, 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 says it will give a $100,000 reward for the JFK documents the various intelligence agencies are withholding should they show violations of law, inefficiency, or administrative error. Hey, we just got a donation, a generous donation of $20 from David Dunst. Thank you, David, so much. We really appreciate that. That's very kind of you. This is from The Mirror. The Mirror says, a fresh conspiracy theory? Dallas police officer was real JFK killer. A document highlighted here suggests that the Dallas Department officer J.D. Tippit, it's Tippit, isn't it, was Kennedy's true killer. This apparently comes from an alleged conversation between an informant and H. Theodore Lee, the principal of Notre Dame University. So, what is the document here? This was posted by somebody. This is on the Mirror website, and it says, somebody reported that he had a conversation with H. Theodore Lee on March 20, 1964, in which Lee mentioned to the informant that he had turned over all correspondence regarding the desire, blah, 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 blah. The informant indicated that Lee also related that statements concerning the assassination of President Kennedy by individuals, blah, 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 that the president was actually assassinated by Dallas police officer Tippit, also that 1 week before the... All right. So, I mean, what this is I guess, a page from these documents where, I don't know if it's the CIA or the FBI or someone is saying that they had heard somebody say they heard about this conversation. So you're probably going to find a lot of that stuff in here. And so this is not saying this is what happened. This is saying that in this report, the people compiling the report heard somebody say that they heard this conversation and they're relating the conversation they heard. Let's see, what is this? This is from the Mirror. It says, anonymous call made in Cambridge 25 minutes before Kennedy assassination. And it says, another great little nugget discovered here. An FBI cable reveals that a senior reporter at the Cambridge News received an anonymous call which advised he contact the American Embassy in London for big news, then hung up. According to MI5, this happened 25 minutes before the president was shot. The Cambridge News reporter is described as a sound and loyal person with no security record. So somebody named Daniel Dolan posted this, and it says, memorandum for Director FBI, subject, assassination of President Kennedy, reported anonymous telephone message. The caller said that only that the Cambridge reporter should call the American Embassy in London for some big news, and then hung up. And it was 25 minutes before the assassination. Oh, look at this. From the Mirror, they say CIA plots to kill Castro included poisoned skin diving suit and exploding seashell. Twitter is already beginning to fill up with discoveries from the JFK files. Here's one particularly entertaining page. CIA plots to kill Cuban leader Fidel Castro included a contaminated skin diving suit and exploding seashells. Castro was known to enjoy skin diving, also known as free diving. The CIA plan was to dust the inside of the suit with a fungus producing Madeira foot, a disabling and chronic skin disease, and also contaminating the suit with tuberculosis bacilli in the breathing apparatus, the file reads. There were also discussions about preparing a booby trap spectacular seashell, which could be submerged in an area where Castro often skin dived. I guess this was posted by somebody named Russell McIntyre. Yeah, there, see, it says, it talks about the booby trap seashell right there. There's the booby trap seashell part. And here's the part about the poisoning the skin diving suit proposal for Castro, to assassinate Castro. Daily Mirror says, could be a long night. Those attempting to read the JFK files could be in for a long night. Several people have already pointed out that the first few documents are barely legible. If you hear interesting stuff about what's going on with these documents, give me a shout. On Twitter, at Lookner. XGOP, at Lookner on Twitter, that's where I am. XGOPE says, Jack Ruby, who shot Oswald, was a Rubenstein. Is that true? Let me look that up. He was born Jacob Leon Rubenstein, or Rubenstein. So maybe that's why Rubenstein is mentioned so much in these documents. Thank you, XGOPE. Found This Fish sent me a link, and it says, this document says, hang on a second, I'll call it up here for you. Soviet reaction to Kennedy's assassination, and they thought Johnson might have been involved. So this is a document. Thank you, Found This Fish. From J. Edgar Hoover to Marvin Watson. Title, Reaction of Soviet and Communist Party Officials to JFK Assassination. How interesting. Look at that. Hey, it's signed by J. Edgar Hoover. It's on FBI letterhead. A source who has furnished reliable information in the past who was in Russia on the date of the assassination of the late President JFK advised on December 4th, 1963 that the news of the assassination of President Kennedy was flashed to the Soviet people almost immediately after its occurrence. It was greeted with great shock and consternation, and church bells will toll in the memory of President Kennedy. According to our source, officials of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union believe there was some well-organized conspiracy on the part of the ultra-right in the United States to effect a coup. Our source further stated that Soviet officials were fearful that without leadership, some irresponsible general in the United States might launch a missile at the Soviet Union. According to our source, Soviet officials claim that Lee Harvey Oswald had no connection whatsoever with the Soviet Union. They described him as a neurotic maniac who was disloyal to his own country and everything else. They noted that Oswald never belonged to any organization in the Soviet Union and was never given Soviet citizenship. S Blaster says, this S is, gave a donation, thank you S Blaster, and said, this S is real news. They let you cover the news with them. That we do, that we do. A brilliant idea, long live RSBN, and S on the others. Thank you S Blaster for your donation. It's very nice of you. Yeah, we let you cover the news with us. So if you hear anything about what's in the documents, or or you see anybody posting online about it, give me a shout. We love to have you help cover the news with us here. And thank you for the donation. The donations help keep us on the air. If you'd like to donate to Right Side Broadcasting, we are viewer supported. You can go to the bottom of the YouTube chat and click on the little dollar sign there, or go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. I need to put a couple eye drops in, so give me 1 second here while I put a couple eye drops in. I don't want to let you watch me put eye drops in. Okay, it may look like I've been crying, but I'm not crying. I'm actually just putting my eye drops in. That's better. Woo! Okay, so we've seen some interesting documents. Like a document like this, to me, even if it shows nothing about the assassination, it's just fascinating historically. This is a document we were just reading that J. Edgar Hoover sent. It's an FBI report about some source in Russia giving intelligence about what happened in Russia after the assassination. So, and these kind of reports probably, I'm sure they come out all the time now. There are all these reports going around the FBI and CIA now about stuff going on now. So it's an interesting window into the kind of stuff they produce there, the intelligence they produce. See if I can find any more updates here. Here we go. So The Guardian says, they found this document. In a mirror of his American counterparts, one Soviet leader in particular was convinced that the KGB needed to get to the bottom of some kind of wide-ranging plot to destabilize the US. Oh, we were just looking at this document before. But I think we were. I'm not even sure. Maybe it's a different document. Ivanov informed those present that President Kennedy's death had posed a problem for the KGB and stated that it was necessary for all KGB employees to lend their efforts to solving the problem. Ivanov stated that it was his personal feeling. This is somebody who is the chief of the This was somebody who was the head of the KGB. And according to an intelligence source, this is what the head of the KGB said, that it was his personal feeling that the assassination of the President Kennedy has been planned by an organized group rather than the act of one individual assassination. And this is interesting because it's like, who is this source that's telling the FBI this? It's got to be a pretty highly placed source if they're giving quotes from the head of the KGB. Like imagine a similar document in Russian hands where it said, like, our Russian source tells us that, and there's like quotes from the head of the American FBI in there. So that's a pretty high source there. In 1965, a source told the FBI that the KGB had data purporting to indicate President Johnson was responsible for the assassination, meaning at least some Soviets were convinced of a conspiracy years after Oswald's death in the Warren Commission. The FBI pressed a KGB defector, Yuri Nosenko, for more information about what relation Oswald may have had with the USSR. Nothing worth anything, Nosenko told them. Look at that last paragraph. According to Nosenko, Oswald came to the attention of the KGB when he expressed a wish to defect to the Union of the USSR, shortly after his arrival in Russia. However, the KGB, after inquiry, decided he was mentally unstable and informed him he had to return to the United States upon completion of his visit. Thereafter, when Oswald missed a sightseeing tour he was to take, his hotel room was forced open and he was found with one of his wrists badly cut. Top secret. And there's a document from 1966 where Soviets declared Oswald maniac. In one particular striking FBI document from Director J. Edgar Hoover, the agency details everything it has learned about the Soviet reaction to JFK's assassination. We saw that document before. And what its agents might have known about Lee Harvey Oswald. Yeah, we read through this already. Okay. Patriot of Truth writes, "Happy birthday, Hillary." Okay, let's see what else I can find, if anything. Is there like a hashtag about this that everybody's like using? Oh, hashtag JFK files. I was looking for stuff more recently posted. So I'm seeing a lot of people like posting different things about this, and when people post on Twitter, like it's hard to say like, you know, somebody might post like a screenshot, and I don't even know if that's from the documents. So this person, I don't even know they are 50s and 60s. They post, "Smoking gun, a special agent knew there would be a possible assassin on JFK's parade route in Dallas, FBI and DPD ignored." I would wish they had a link here, but supposedly in this document it says, where does it say this? That doesn't help us at all. Told by a reliable source that there would be violence along the parade route to be taken by the President John F. Kennedy. Reported this information to the Dallas Police Department and the FBI. If you ever hear about other interesting stuff posted in these files, give me a shout on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. Thomas says, "The deep state tried to stop the release of the JFK files because in the files it would expose the deep state. Deep state. Oh, thank you. Joe said, "Jerry OOG made a donation and I missed it." Oh my gosh. Hey, a couple people made donations. Sorry, I was reading too much. All right, so Tia Marie donated $20 and said, "Thank you, Steve and the mods. You're awesome." Thank you, Tia Marie. That's really kind of you. Oh, my chat was paused. Now I see it. And Jerry OOG made a donation and said, "The work of a nation, the center of intelligence." Thank you guys for donating. That's really kind of you. That's what keeps us on the air, when you guys donate it. So we really appreciate it. If you want to donate, you can go to the bottom of the YouTube chat and click on the $sign, or go to rsbn.tv/donate. rsbn.tv/donate. And subscribe to us on YouTube and click on the notifications bell so you know when we're coming on the air with these videos. And follow us on Facebook, Right Side Broadcasting, and on Twitter at RSB Network. Thank you all the moderators working so hard tonight in the chat rooms. All right. As I said before, I'm trying to find we're finding some interesting documents that people have been finding in this release tonight. The release that's on this page here. Here on the National Archives, you can go to it and look through it yourself if you'd like. But if you hear of any interesting releases, any interesting documents from the release, give me a shout out on Twitter. So here's something that I was sent. S Blaster just made another donation. Thank you, S Blaster. S Blaster donated $20. Wow, thank you. And said, "Once upon a time there was a little boy in a picture. He farted and then a lady came. That's the story of my life. I live for this, S." We love RSBN, and thanks moderators for keeping words like S out of the chat. Thank you, S Blaster, for the donation. Very nice of you. So this supposedly, this was sent to me by, I found this fish. It's a document which was originated from the White House, Memorandum of Conversation. It's a conversation between Henry Kissinger and Brent Scowcroft, Deputy Assistant for the President for National Security Affairs. Oh, and you can actually read what they said. It's like all of the actual things they said to each other. About problems, I guess, with the SALT agreement. It's kind of cool though that you can see what they actually said. Pretty crazy. And by the way, just to remind you, if you send me a link, please give me, I love that you're sending me links to like the documents from the release, but just give me a little like sentence or two summary of what actually it is. See, like I'm looking at this and it's like, I'm not sure what it is that someone just sent me. And then if I read through it, then you have to just watch me reading, which is kind of boring. Oh, look. CNN posted one of the files. Or an excerpt. CNN, JFK files. Memo sent to them, to then Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy about a book dealing, Memo sent to then AG Robert F. Kennedy about a book detailing intimate relationship with Marilyn Monroe. So it's FBI, and it says reference is made to an SSC letter dated March 31st, requesting all FBI materials pertaining to communications between FBI Director Hoover and Attorney General Robert Kennedy with respect to the publication of a book about Marilyn Monroe well, what's going on? Do they have a link? What is the link? This doesn't tell us much here. What is the link they're linking to? A memo was sent warning Attorney General RFK and the FBI Director of a forthcoming book that detailed what the author characterized was an intimate relationship between him and Marilyn Monroe. RFK and Marilyn Monroe? Ah, here's a document. Title, Marilyn Monroe. Ah, look. So this is sent to the Attorney General, and it says, in my letter to you dated blah, 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 reference was made to a forthcoming book by Frank A. Capell, entitled This Strange Death of Marilyn Monroe. Throughout the book, and particularly on pages 49 to 61, blah, 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 Capell claims that you had a close relationship with Miss Monroe. A copy of this book is enclosed. Huh. Here's another update they found. CNN found. Oswald was intercepted speaking to a KGB officer in broken Russian. 2 months before the assassination, Lee Harvey Oswald was heard speaking in broken Russian to a KGB agent in Mexico City, Mexico, according to the newly released documents. The CIA intercepted a September 28, 1963 call from Oswald to the Russian embassy. They intercepted the call. Oswald spoke to consul blah, blah, blah in broken Russian. According to the document, it is not unusual for a KGB agent on a sensitive mission to have such overt contact with a Soviet embassy, but such contact in official installations may be caused by the agent's own carelessness. So there's the document there. Contact of Lee Oswald with a member of Soviet KGB assassination department. Or is it Soviet KGB and it was sent, this is for the assassination department? I don't know. According to an intercepted phone call in Mexico City, Lee Oswald was at the Soviet embassy there on 28th September 1963 and spoke with the consul Valery blah, blah, blah. This was learned when Oswald called the Soviet embassy on October 1st, identifying himself by name and speaking in broken Russian, stating the above and asking the guard who answered the phone whether there was anything new concerning the telegram to Washington. Just crazy when intelligence agencies keep tabs on people, but when you actually read these documents where it says we know what this person was saying in this phone call because we were listening in, it's kind of crazy to me. Here's another thing that was found that CNN posted. FBI received threat on Oswald's life the night before he was killed. One of the documents included a transcript of a 1963 conversation with J. Edgar Hoover. The conversation describes a threat against Lee Harvey Oswald. And it says, here's what Hoover said. There's nothing further on the Oswald case except that he is dead. Last night we received a call from our Dallas office from a man talking in a calm voice and saying he was a member of a committee organized to kill Oswald. He described how they called the chief of police that night and again the next morning. He again assured us adequate protection would be given. However, this was not done. When Oswald died, Hoover said, we had an agent at the hospital in the hope that he might make some sort of confession before he died, but he did not do so. So this is a report about what J. Edgar Hoover said. That's from the documents. He says secret. This morning we called the chief of police, again warning of the possibility of some effort against Oswald, and he again assured us that adequate protection would be given. However, this was not done. So is that J. Edgar Hoover saying that? They brought him out of the city jail and were taking him to the county jail when a man stepped out and shot him in the stomach. This man was arrested at once. He goes under the name of Jack Ruby, but his real name is Rubenstein. He runs 2 nightclubs, blah, 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 blah. That's interesting. We had an agent at the hospital in the hope that he might make some kind of confession before he died, but he did not do so. Fascinating. Here's a story that was posted by CNN. Roger Stone blames the deep state for Trump's decision on JFK files. It says Roger Stone was already blaming the deep state on Thursday evening as Trump's decision was announced. He added that Trump's decision has the inadvertent effect of fueling suspicion and skepticism. If the documents aren't embarrassing, then why would they withhold them, Stone told CNN. The issue is it shows the treachery of the CIA who recruited Lee Harvey Oswald, who trained him, and who placed him. Stone declined to express disappointment in Trump for the decision, instead pointing his finger at the deep state, and said he would wait to see what information was released before passing judgment on Trump. I need 15 seconds to get some water, so let me just leave this picture of Roger Stone up for 15 seconds. Give me 1 sec. I'm just grabbing a little more water. Coming right back. Hang on. You are watching, this is Right Side Broadcasting's live coverage tonight of the release of the JFK assassination files. We have been looking at some different examples of the different files, seeing what they say. We've seen some really interesting stuff about everything from assassination plots toward Fidel Castro, where they considered giving him a poisoned skin diving suit and a exploding seashell. We saw documents talking about somebody calling the some police in England 25 minutes before the JFK assassination and saying they should call like the U.S. Embassy, I think, and soon for news, important news or something. So we've seen conversations. We've seen a bunch of stuff from like J. Edgar Hoover. So a lot of really interesting historical documents there. And, nothing so far that's going to really seems like a huge bombshell, but there's a lot of documents in there. So people right now are just going through all the documents. You can go through them yourself if you like, at this site here, the JFK Assassination Records site on the National Archives. But we're going through, we're just giving you a sampling of what's in these documents. And if you hear of anything interesting in the documents, give me a shout on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. And what was I going to say? And be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell so you know when we're coming on the air with these videos. Thank you so much to the moderators in the chat rooms who've been working tonight. In the YouTube chat right now, we have Guinevere is there, and I believe JC is there. Lynn Jean. I see JC. I know Ron Miller was there before. Real Frank. So thank you all for doing that. And Common Sense and Gleno on the website. But write to me if you hear anything interesting about what's in these documents. Golf Thistle writes in, "Hi Steve, have you read this book regarding a reporter who died in the mid-1960s and was writing a book about JFK's assassination? It's called The Spy Who Knew Too Much by Mark Shaw." No, I have not. But if you're looking for a book regarding a reporter who died in the mid-1960s and who was writing a book on JFK's assassination, you can go look for this book, The Spy Who Knew Too Much. I was sent an Amazon link, so... Well, I'm looking at The Spy Who Knew Too Much by Mark Shaw, and I'm not even seeing it on Amazon. Let's try this again. Is the title correct? The Reporter Who Knew Too Much. The Reporter Who Knew Too Much. This is the book right here that a viewer recommended to me. Was What's My Line TV star, media icon, and crack investigative reporter and journalist Dorothy Kilgallen murdered for writing a tell-all book about the JFK assassination? So if you're interested in that, you can go check out this book. Ryan Conti says, "Hi Steve, I feel the JFK files are not all declassified because some deep state insiders don't want the truth to be revealed. We the people have a right to know the truth." Thank you for writing in, Ryan. Copernica says, "You started reading this document. You need to keep reading it to the bottom of page 2. Which document is this, Copernica? So that's this document. You wanted me to read the bottom of page 2. Oh, this is about something about, it's quotes, this is from J. Edgar Hoover. We were talking about stuff he said like right after the assassination. But the bottom of page 2. Ruby says no one was associated with him and denies having made the telephone call to our Dallas office last night. He says he bought the gun about 3 years ago and that he guessed his grief over the killing of the president made him insane. That was a pretty smart move on his part because it might lay the foundation for a plea of insanity later. Is that what you wanted me to read? Oh, no, page 2 is here. The bottom of page 2, it says, "This thing I am concerned about, and so is Mr. Katzenbach, is having something issued so we can convince the public that Oswald is the real assassin." Okay. "I felt this was better because there are several aspects which would complicate our foreign relations. For instance, Oswald made a phone call to the Cuban embassy in Mexico City, which we intercepted. It was only about a visa, however. He wrote a letter to the Soviet embassy in Washington, which we intercepted, read and resealed." They read it and they resealed the letter. This letter referred to the fact that the FBI had questioned his activities on Fair Play to Cuba Committee and also asked about extension of his wife's visa. See what else I can find here. Here's something that CNN found. CIA director said LBJ used to say JFK was murdered as payback for assassinating President Diem of Vietnam. Richard Helms, who was the director of the CIA under LBJ and Nixon, said as much during deposition at Langley in April 1975. President Johnson used to go around saying that the reason President Kennedy was assassinated was that he assassinated President Diem. And you can see in the document, it says it there. President Johnson used to go around saying that the reason President Kennedy was assassinated was that he had assassinated President Diem, and this was just justice. He certainly used to say that in the early days of the presidency, and where he got this idea from, I don't know. I don't know how many of you had the privilege of trying to argue with presidents about things like that, but you tend to be a loser. And this is, we talked about this a little before. The Guardian's also reporting this before. We read that message from J. Edgar Hoover. FBI warned Dallas of threat to Oswald. The FBI had warning of a potential death threat to Lee Harvey Oswald, according to a memo by J. Edgar Hoover, which reveals some of the Bureau's reactions to the assassination. Yeah, we saw this memo before. There's nothing further on the Oswald case except that he's dead. We read that quote. Last night, we received a call in our Dallas office from a man talking in a calm voice and saying he was a member of a committee organized to kill Oswald. We at once notified Chief of Police, and he assured us Oswald would be given sufficient protection. This morning, we called the Chief of Police again, warning of the possibility of some effort against Oswald, and again, he assured us of adequate protection would be given. However, this was not done. Hoover admitted he does not have firm information about the man who shot Oswald dead, Jack Ruby, but nonetheless declared that his real name was Rubenstein. Noted rumors of underworld activity suggested he had the reputation of being a homosexual. So we saw that. We were looking at that document before. In separate memos dated to August and September 1963, before the assassination, an agent with the FBI's New Orleans division wrote that agents had lost track of Oswald and were looking for him, especially in the Dallas area. New Orleans division will maintain contact with Cuban sources for any indication of additional activity on the part of subject organization, which appears to have become inactive since the departure from New Orleans of Lee Harvey Oswald. Um, Copernicus says, bingo, convince the public that Oswald is the real assassin. Well, I think when J. Edgar Hoover said that in that document, J. Edgar Hoover himself thought Oswald was the real assassin. But what he was saying is, but we need to convince the public of this because they might think there's some big conspiracy going on. But I think that's what J. Edgar Hoover thought was the case. See what else I can dig up here. So I wanted to show you an article here. So Mashable posted this on Twitter. More JFK files are out, but good luck deciphering the bad handwriting. Although we've seen typed documents there. Hey, it's getting a little warm in here. I have to adjust my AC. Sorry, give me 1 second. Presidential historian, I'm seeing evidence of small cover-ups. Tim Naftali, a presidential historian and Kennedy expert, told CNN's Anderson Cooper he's seeing evidence of small cover-ups in the JFK files. This was posted by Anderson Cooper on Twitter. Let's see what this says.
If you want to see examples of federal bungling, this is a document that the House Assassination Committee found apparently from J. Edgar Hoover, where Hoover is explaining why he does not want an independent investigation of the Oswald, of Ruby's killing of Oswald and of Oswald's killing of the president. He says, we were intercepting Oswald's conversations in Mexico City, and we intercepted a mail going to the Soviet embassy in Washington. Both of those had information relating to Oswald's state of mind, and that information didn't go to the Secret Service. By the way, you know, it's J. Edgar Hoover, so he also thinks that Jack Ruby is gay. I don't know why, but it's a very interesting document, and it just shows you the level of federal bungling and the extent to which the FBI, within 2 days of Kennedy's assassination, was already thinking of a cover-up, not because it had killed Kennedy, but because it hadn't done what it should have done to protect the president.
J. Edgar Hoover thought Ruby was gay?
Yeah, it's in the document. He says, and Ruby's a known homosexual.
Hoover's one to talk, though.
You know,
I mean,
Hoover.
I just
No. I mean,
didn't know the guy
it's so.
personally, but from
I
what
think
I've
it's a
read,
throwaway. No, I'm not. No, it's a throwaway line for him. If he doesn't like someone, that person's a known homosexual. But yeah, the point is, when you're looking for cover-ups, there are sometimes big cover-ups and small cover-ups. Small cover-ups are those to protect people's reputation. Big cover-ups are of murder. What I'm seeing is evidence of small cover-ups, government inefficiency, FBI bungling. That's what I'm seeing on the Oswald case at the moment.
It is interesting that, you know, Tim Naftali, who's a presidential historian, you know, some people I think thought that these releases would all just be kind of like nothing interesting at all. But like that's somebody, he's saying like, wow, this is really interesting. It sounded like he is seeing stuff that he hasn't seen before and didn't know about before. So it's kind of cool that these new historical documents have been released for people to go over and saying stuff that and showing stuff that they hadn't seen before. Even professional historians. MAGA 2017 Halley says partial withhold of documents. Be interesting to see if redactions equal blackout. Well, we'll see in April what else is released. So Joseph Fritzl sent me this post by somebody on Twitter, who I don't know who the person is who posted it, so take everything with a grain of salt, but this person, 0 Hour, said, I never remember any word of the windshield having a hole. Am I reading this right? And I guess this is a document, from the release, although I'm not sure. What is it? What are they talking about? I'm looking at this document this person posted. Oh, I see. Hold on, I'll show you. Again, I can't even guarantee this is from the document release, but this is what they posted. Bullet hole in the windshield of the president's car. That person, Potito, is a person they talk about. So this report, this document apparently it's like, at the top it says, on the evening of January 16th, 1964, a couple months after the assassination, at a dinner sponsored by Orrin Potito was held at this restaurant in St. Petersburg, Florida. And it says, in the course of his speech of some 3 hours following the dinner, Potito touched on the association between Lee Harvey Oswald and Ruby. So this is just a report on what this person, Potito, said at a dinner like 2 months after the assassination. It is interesting. We've seen a few of these documents where like the documents are just like, this is what someone said about the assassination. Not that somebody observed it. It's just people hear people talking about the assassination and they just pass the information along to the intelligence agencies. But it shows you, like, in that document doesn't say there was a hole in the windshield. What the document says is, like, at this dinner 2 months after the assassination, some dude was talking and mentioned a hole in the windshield. That's all it says. So don't be careful when you see clips, when you see stuff in the documents, you have to understand what context it says. There might be in a sentence in the documents that say Oswald did it, but if you read the document, it might turn out that like the document is relating a conversation somebody had 4 years after the assassination where that person in the conversation said Oswald did it. So you have to, be careful about what you're looking at. Josh sent me a tweet that he saw. What is this tweet? Where did I find this one from you, Josh? Oh, I see. Josh says, cool, this shows a rating system used to show threat level. So what is this? Again, I don't know who this person is. Somebody named Raphael G said they found something which says, day before assassination, Israel ready to fund anti-Cuban revolution with machine guns as soon as we or they take care of JFK. Oh, this is one of these. This document looks like one of the ones we saw. We saw a document with a bunch of files on individual people who they were checking out as possible threats to the president. And so this says, Homer Echevarria, informant advised Chicago office that suspect was member of an anti-Castro Cuban group. Suspect allegedly approached informant to provide machine guns for Cuban revolution. Suspect allegedly told informant, we now have plenty of money. Our new backers are Jews. As soon as we or they take care of Kennedy. Subject expressed favorable attitude towards LBJ. So this is just a report. This is a report about what an informant, I think, told the FBI about what the informant had heard this person allegedly say. So again, it's, lots of rumors get passed on to these intelligence agencies and they put them in writing, and they'll say things like, hey, this informant of ours says they heard this person say this, but that might not have happened. So, just because in here an informant tells one of the intelligence agencies, I heard somebody say this, doesn't mean the person actually said that. And even if the person said that, it's possible that this person really did say this and that this person had no idea what they were talking about. So, again, take things with a grain of salt. But interesting, though. All right, we're going to be on the air for a few more minutes here talking about this. If you have any comments you'd like to say, have me say on the air, as long as they're clean and relevant to the topic at hand. Or if you have heard about anything interesting in the files, give me a shout on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. Thank you for the moderators who've been moderating the chat rooms as we've been on the air. We appreciate it. And thank you to those who've donated so far. Really appreciate the donations, because that lets us do news coverage for you. We're viewer supported. We can't be doing this coverage without your donations. Your donations allow us to be on the air. So if you'd like to donate to us at Right Side Broadcasting, go to the bottom of the YouTube chat and click on the dollar sign. There's a little dollar sign at the bottom of the YouTube chat. Or you can go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. Oh, Joseph Fritzl said in one of the documents I missed there was something in underlined in red that said, mentioned second shooter on bridge. So that was that report where somebody said that they had seen a bullet hole in the windshield, and then I guess the same person said that they saw a second shooter on the bridge. Again, it's somebody saying it. We don't know if they're a reliable source, but a lot of interesting stuff like that in these documents. I Heart Trump in America wanted me to see this document. It's an FBI document, and it says the following informants were contacted in the Amarillo area on the day before and the morning of the assassination in connection with the assassination. Oh wait, what was the day of the assassination? November 22nd. So I don't know what exactly it means that they were contacting informants. All this says is that they contacted these informants the day of the... maybe this is after the assassination and in the morning after the assassination. So these are informants they contacted about the assassination, but I don't really know if that means anything, that they're contacting informants. Here's something The Guardian found. Reader Kieran Morris in Clapham, London, has found several cryptic remarks by a Soviet naval attaché and a colleague in Washington, D.C. in January 1964. The FBI document is extremely difficult to read, and the FBI source appears to have only caught portions of the conversation. One said he considered it virtually impossible to have prevented the assassination, but considered the subsequent slaying of Oswald to be unintelligible. He commented, "We should never have let this happen." So again, this document is an intelligence source telling the FBI that the source overheard this conversation. So who knows with these things? And we don't know who the source is and how reliable they are. And even if they are reliable, were the purple people having this conversation, were they telling the truth? Did they know they were being listened to? Are they reliable sources? So there's all those questions about any of these things. But interesting. I Heart Trump in America sent me this document that supposedly says a caller from San Francisco called the day before warning of JFK's death. From SACLA. I'm looking for the part where it says he called the police. I don't see that in here. Oh, it says telephone to bureau today. Unsubstantiated. Anyways. All kinds of stuff to look through here. See if any of the other pages I'm following have anything new here. I think, let's see this page. Oh, here's some new things from the CBS page. Oh, stop playing, stop. Castro denies involvement in Kennedy assassination. One of the documents discusses a 1978 trip to Cuba by members of the House Select Committee on Assassinations, which was formed in 1976 to investigate the killings of President Kennedy and Martin Luther King Jr. On April 3rd, 1978, the document says that the members met with Cuban director Fidel Castro, who assured the committee that neither he nor his government had any involvement in the assassination of John F. Kennedy, President John F. Kennedy. What document is that? That's here. I think it's a House Select Committee procedural write-up Cuba trip. Well, it's a long document. I don't know if I'm going to find the Castro thing. Let's see if I can search it. Now, it doesn't really let me search these documents. 1960s 1960 document discusses sex parties. One new FBI document discusses a high-priced Hollywood call girl and friend of the LA private detective Fred Otash, who had convicted of horse race fixing. The woman in question contacted members of the FBI's LA field office to tell them that Otash had asked about her participation in sex parties that included then Senator John Kennedy, his brother-in-law Peter Lawford, Frank Sinatra, and Sammy Davis Jr. She also told agents that she knew of no such sex parties. So she said she didn't know of any. Otash later implied to the FBI that Confidential magazine was looking for dirt on Kennedy or Lawford that it could use before the 1960 election. Reactions of Soviet leaders. A 1966 FBI document discusses how the Soviet Union reacted. We already read that document. Reacted with great shock to President Kennedy's assassination, and that church bells were tolled in his memory. As we saw before, they were also worried that a rogue U.S. general might use the lack of leadership to fire a nuclear weapon at the Soviet Union. We saw that before. All right, well, we've shown you some documents, and we've given you a little sampling of what's out there. There's so many documents in this at this website, so you can go to it and look through it yourself if you'd like. Again, it's National Archives right there. Obey Riptide says, "What's your opinion about the files being released, and why do you think the government took so long to release the files?" So, I mean, I'm no expert on this, but I think it's good to release things eventually. Obviously, the more that's out there, the better. I think this will certainly be very valuable to historians. You know, I don't know if there's a thing where, you know, where things initially aren't released because they're sensitive, and then as time goes by, you know, it's easy to just say don't release anything more. Maybe there's a certain amount of inertia when it comes to releasing stuff in certain agencies, and they just want to release as little as possible as a general practice. Probably doesn't help them at all to release stuff and have it out there. But I really don't know, you know, in terms of why it took so long with these files to release them. I mean, initially, look, they're clearly a sensitive material in here, and you can see, like, you know, you have private conversations from people like Henry Kissinger in here, and you have J. Edgar Hoover, and it'd be a little weird. Like, you don't want this stuff coming out. Like, it'd be weird if Henry Kissinger was still alive like a few years after the assassination and was still working in government, and you had all these private governmental conversations of his coming out into the open. So there's clear reasons for that. You know, in the same way you wouldn't want President Trump's private conversations and that of his cabinet released now, but, you know, 70 years from now or 50 years from now, not such a big deal if they're released. So at a certain point, because a bunch of this involves government people and government business, and also identifies informants and things like that, you can see that there would be sensitive information that's a bit time sensitive, but once it gets a certain number of years after, it's a little less important to keep that stuff private. Never Give Up clarified. Never Give Up says SAC equals Special Agent in Charge FBI, so that was from their LA office. Thank you, Never Give Up. All right, so anyways, I think at this point we're going to wrap up our coverage. Sorry, it'd be good to just endlessly go through this stuff, but I think the better, for a more prudent approach on our end, is we'll keep an eye on what's getting released about this. If there's anything huge released about it, we'll let you know. I'll certainly post stuff on Twitter if I see anything really huge that comes out about this. And so you can follow me on Twitter at @Lookner. Also, if you enjoy our broadcasts, subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell so you get notified when we come on the air with news coverage like this. Also, follow us on Facebook, Right Side Broadcasting. Follow us on Twitter at RSB Network. We love when you like and share these videos. Like it on YouTube, share it on Facebook if you do indeed enjoy the video, because that helps get the word out about Right Side. And finally, again, we are viewer supported. Your donations are what allow us to do these broadcasts. So if you want to support Right Side Broadcasting, you can go to the bottom of the YouTube chat and click on the $sign, or go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. Again, in the YouTube chat, there's a little dollar symbol at the bottom of the YouTube chat. Thank you so much to the moderators, Gleno and Common Sense on the web and on YouTube, Real Frank, JC, Guinevere. Who else was there? I know Ron Miller was there earlier. Lynn Jean was there earlier. So thank you for moderating the chat. Thank you all for sending in thanks so much for sending in, helping us cover this news here, sending in your different links to different parts of different documents and stuff like that. Very much appreciated. And thank you all for watching. So we'll be keeping our eye on the news in the coming days. And there'll be another release of documents probably in April. It looks like at least in April, some of the documents that were withheld by President Trump tonight because FBI and CIA asked him to, those might be released in April. So we might see more documents then. But for now, we're going to wrap up this stream. Thank you all for watching. And thank you all for saying thanks in the chat room. People like Vault 101 and Rooster. Who we got? Rooster, Cogburn, Bud 420. Alan Reiser's there. Jason Thornton. Who else said thanks? Tom O'Neill. Hi, Tom. Tom's out there. Monkey TV says my message won't send. To me on Twitter? Well, I'm sorry about that, Monkey TV, but we just got one in the chat room here. GMA Vapes said thanks. Thank you, GMA Vapes. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on the news. If there's more breaking news tonight, we'll definitely come on the air and cover it for you. So subscribe to us on YouTube so you know when we're coming on the air with breaking news videos. But for now, thank you, Tia Marie. Thank you for the donation. Villa Drift says, can I be your stylist? That implies you don't like my style now. That's going to make me sad. Joshua Sr. says, see you next stream, Steve. Yes, I will see you guys next stream. Thank you, Adrian Gavori. Thank you, Bjorn Anderson. Thank you, Metal Goddess of Slayer. And thank you again to the moderators. Hey, Douglas Bradley. Thank you, Louie Dog. Joshua Sr., I did not skip you this time. All right. Wrapping it up for now. Thanks so much for joining us. Have enjoyed going through this stuff with you. Enjoy looking through it if you choose to do so. There's a lot of stuff out there. Also, I would also recommend, different sites like The Guardian and CNN have like little live streams going where we've been talking about some of them where they post some stuff. And also, if you just do a search on Twitter, JFK Files, a lot of individual people are going through stuff. Just take it all with a grain of salt, though, before you can. So I would especially don't just think because somebody posts a link to something on Twitter that's actually from the files. You'll want to make sure that it is, because it'd be very easy for somebody to do a fake document or screen capture a document from somewhere else and say, I found this in the JFK Files. So keep an eye out for that. But for now, I am Steve Lookner. This is Right Side Broadcasting. Thank you for joining us. This has been our live coverage of the JFK Files release. And we will see you soon on the next news stream, whatever that is. But for now, have a great night, everyone, and see you shortly.